With the recent expansion of our farm of 3 new fields and the planting of oats to keep our small grain mills and bakery churning out bread, we're poised to turn our attention to a big harvest this episode that'll hopefully give our oil mill a year-round supply of canola. Yeah, we're just cruising through the months now, and because we're taking such good care of the farm, we had nothing to do in May but watch the used equipment sales and market values. We're kicking things off here in June, and this is right about the time when we sell our short planks at the best price. There's several pallets set off to the side at each sawmill, and more in the queue, so we'll arrange things to get as much loaded as possible and do a big sale of everything. It'll all come down to how neatly we can stack the trailer. Okay, because the playground is full up on short planks and there's a fair bit of price difference in the sell points, I decided to just take the short planks and long planks on their own trip. We're going to sell at a new place we've never been, and that's the Grain Elevator Museum. They're the next best sell point that I'm sure will take all our lumber. This will not only be a sale, but a new place to visit. All right, here we are. Are we supposed to sell things in that little trigger area inside? Surely not. Let's see though. It's roped off, but we can go through. This just feels all wrong. We couldn't even pull straight through. Yes, what I've done is turn off the sell point indicators on the map. Let's back the dolly trailer out of here and get to the right place. Nice. $54,000 added to the account, and there's a half a dozen beams to sell on top of that. Let's get back and get them loaded and sold as well. Okay, 5 pallets of beams, $18,000 more in the account. The sawmills never disappoint. With the lumber from the sawmills all sold, we need to do a little bit of tree felling to put more wood in. For this farm, having just the 2 small sawmills has felt like the right amount of forestry. We've also been selling a lot of the lodgepole pines straight off the field. So, between that and the sawmill production, it's felt like it's added variety without it turning into forestry simulator, which you could do in this game. Just go all in on wood production. There's even heavily wooded maps to support that gameplay. We'll just push these whole chunks of oak tree in there, and just a couple decent sized pieces is all I need. There, all done for at least a couple more months. Next, we'll tend to the pitiful dairy. It processes so slowly, all it needs is a couple of these partial pallets, and it'll be good for almost a year. I do hope Giants adjusts the small dairy so it's a viable production, because it would be a nice thing to have. It just needs to turn a profit of more than just a few $100s a year. If you're wanting to see the actual data on the dairy, you can check it out in my prior episode 20, where I expose the poor production of the little dairy. Alright, there's only one more chore on the farm before moving to July and beginning our massive harvest. The goat watering, of course. We need to get as much of these smaller jobs done as we can now, because July is going to be absolutely mad with activity. And we might find out if we accomplished one of our goals for the series. Okay, it's time to brace for July and hope for good weather, because we're going to be spending a lot of time in the fields. It's about 5:30 in the morning and time to get cracking. The canola is looking good, and we also have the oats. Yes, ready to harvest as expected. And look at that bread! We'll try to sell some of that soon too. Forecast-wise, we look to have some rain coming around 1 o'clock, so it's good we got an early start. Let's dust off the combine and get it pulled out with the header. We'll get that put on and might as well start straight away with harvesting the canola. We have this small field here by the shed, but moving forward, I think this will be its last arable crop. We'll do something else with this plot before the finale and let our 4 other big fields serve as the land devoted to the oil canola project. You can see that this side of the main road is really now our oats field, and what an impressive stretch of fields those are that we purchased just 6 months ago. This canola needs to go straight to the oil mill so that production can start up again. It's been idle since around February due to the lack of product, but that should all change this year. This will be the first canola harvest off our biggest field across the street, and I'm hoping that'll be enough for the year-round oil production I keep talking about. Okay, this little field is done. Time to get the double trailer and keep moving. This will all fit into one trailer, and we can take that immediately to the oil mill. I do have a little challenge with access to the dumping point and not destroying our crop. Realistically, we need to fix that, and we will here very shortly. Before that, we have to keep the combine rolling and set that off on one of our brand new oat fields, and also hire a worker. This harvest will rely heavily on the hired hands, because I can guarantee we'll have just about every machine out there on the fields working at once. We just need to set the straw to swathing. We need the straw money. Speaking of working the fields, we should also go fetch the baler. Before we get too far behind, we can bring up the rear behind the harvester and begin rolling the straw into bales. These are big 11,000 liter bales, and we'll get quite a few off the oats, so that's money we can't afford to waste. The harvester already has a big head start, but I'm sure we can catch up. Plus, it'll probably have to unload soon, and we can start pouring oats directly into our 3 grain mills for bread flour. Let's get into the harvesting frenzy. It's the best time of the year. All right, we just finished with the biggest oat field, which is the one we joined, and now have the combine, baler, and auto stacker and carting trailers all at work. I've put just one trailer load of oats into each mill because I'm not sure how many oats we'll get total, and I want to keep what's in the grain mills somewhat even. The rest I'll store in the silo, and we can move that to the grain mills whenever we need to. Let's keep moving and get to the other plot of oats. Our field work has really only just begun. You know, I'll do what any farmer might do when they see a good potential watering hole. We'll pull out the pole and fish. This tranquil little stream is bound to be good. Look at the ripples in the water where we're pulling in. A $200 trout, and I'm sure no one will have noticed our brief absence from the field. That was a nice break, but let's get back to work. All right, it's time to get a long-time forgotten piece of equipment back into the action, our horse cultivator seeder combo. There's nothing wrong with this setup, though I did get those unusual strips of weeds when I used it, but other than that, it worked perfectly well as a seeder, and with the hopper off, it cultivated. What we can do is get this small field we harvested first planted with grass. Like I said before, I don't plan on using this anymore as an arable crop field, and this grass will make a nice backdrop for what I have in mind. So, we'll continue harvesting, baling, carting, and planting grass, and see how we do. Okay, I've decided to plant grass also in the oat field. This is mainly so we can use the grass as a cover crop and get 2 free applications of fertilizer. It will have the amazing benefit of providing an absolutely enormous amount of silage. If I'm using these fields as dedicated for oats, then there's nothing else I can really plant that'll be harvestable before next spring and the oat season. So I may as well plant grass and get all those benefits. Let's continue on to finish up the oats, then move over and get going on the canola. Let's see where we are. We finished the oats, picked up all the straw, and put the bales in the big yard. It's a perfect spot till they're ready to sell. The worker planting the grass is getting there done. We started the canola, and we're back here at the canola mill with our rather tight little reverse action tipping. I said I'd fix this problem. Well, I'll catch it on the next load. We'll get back to harvesting and planting grass. There's a lot more to do. This time, I think I'll just drive right through the crop intentionally destroying it. And that'll give me an idea of exactly how much I should pave over as a drive around for the production. That's not that bad. And I can even widen that a bit more. Let's unload and do some paving. Okay, I'll go ahead and make a nice wide path around, taking out a bit more than the tractor destroyed. That looks pretty good. The nice thing about workers is that they just keep going while we're fiddling around with making paths. Let's catch back up and add some fertilizing to the mix. The grass where the oats were will self-fertilize, but in these canola fields, we need to plant the canola next month, so they need to get 2 direct applications. This small spreader just keeps being serviceable on the farm, but it does make me wonder, how is the lime situation after this harvest? Not good. Most every field needs lime, but that gives us an opportunity to buy another piece of equipment we need for the farm, and keeps with that commitment of owning all the equipment we commonly use. The worker had just finished the grass, so that frees up the Deutz-Fahr. Let's drop off the cultivator seeder equipment back where we keep it and go get a lime spreader. We also have an emergency with the combine. It almost ran out of fuel. If I hadn't seen it telling me it's ready to empty, it very well may have run out of diesel. Let's get straight to the fueling depot. We need more diesel. The combine's not even full. 1,000 liters it will be. Okay, back to the fields and on to getting our lime spreader. We'll get the tried and true Vidal, and we're not going to buy any lime, because I discovered a lime filling silo centrally located to our arable crops right at the farmer's market. It's just perfect. We can just roll under the spout and get it in the hopper. 9,000 liters and 1,619. That's actually cheaper than buying the bags. For those 9,000 liters, that saves us about $400. I'll take that any day. And we're gonna need to lime everything, so we'll be refilling this new spreader several times. In the next episode, we'll finish the harvest and field prep, see if we made our canola goal, and a whole lot more as we make our final push. See you next time.